I'm at the campsite, which shall not be named, in Salcombe Regis, and I'm just looking at the rules. Yeah, it's kind of funny because they've got a rule about, which is a standard rule, about the fact that there shouldn't be any noise after 10:30 p.m. and nothing before 7 p.m, which does not seem to refer to them, because at 5 in the morning we had, it was still dark. They had somewhat sounded like some kind of emptying of the bins or emptying of the recycling, like glass, so it's incredibly loud. Must have woken everyone up on the site, and also there was lots of noise from them as well. Of course, there's farms in the area, but there are actually noise from them in this morning as well. So, and the showers are terrible. It's just they're one of those places where they charge for the showers, which I don't mind if the showers are good. And usually the places that charge for showers make sure it's decent, whereas actually the sort of the quality of the shower and the warmth is just like almost non-existent, and they're charging for it. So when I was in the middle of the night, because my eczema was kicking up. So I was like, oh well, maybe it was because it took 20p to actually even just warm up from cold. But I say warm up, it's kind of like that's stretching the warm. It was lukewarm, and then another 20p to actually have the shower. So I was like, And then I went and tried it today. I just decided, I'll just spend 20p and just check. And it didn't take 20p to warm up, but didn't really warm up at all. It was just kind of like it's lukewarm, which is like really a real piss take. If you're going to charge for showers, make sure the showers are decent, and they usually are. The places that charge can vary from 50p to 20p. One of the best ones was at Punch Knoll, the site next to the church. That was 50p. I was like, but actually it was a luxury shower. It was a nice shower, and it was warm or hot, and you could adjust the temperature and stuff. And it's like, yes. But another red flag about here is they slagged off Cannington, and Kennington apparently is being sold and not running, so that's why I'm here. And I think if someone runs any establishment or organisation or company, if they're so ready to slag off the competition, you just know, red flag, because they should be a bit more careful. It's not so much about if I was saying, so and so is terrible and they agree with me, that's different. But actually, just to offer that information and then be like, the facility's archaic, and then I try their facilities, and at least Kennington had hot showers, even if the little contraption it was like something from pre-war to put the money in, and you think, am I going to get an electric shock from this? That was a bit scary, but at least it was actually a good hot shower. It was a bit shorter than here, but it was actually properly hot. And I tried the taps as well, thinking, well, maybe it's just the shower's a bit off. And the taps in the toilet block, in fact, weirdly, there's stronger flow from the hot water than the cold, because I thought it was the way around. And after using it for a while, it started to go lukewarm. I was like, I'm actually using hot water. That's how slow it is. You wouldn't tell. And it's the same with the sinks and the outside for washing. And having come from Cork, where it's £15 a night and super hot showers and super hot water, versus here, which is £21 a night and everything is extra, and they can't even keep the place quiet in the mornings. And I'm next to an apple tree, which is pest central, and so many pests. Though it's not necessarily their fault, because they can't control the pesties, although leaving their apples to rot on the ground is kind of like basically a bit piss-takey, because that's going to always bring all the pests to the yard. Sadly not the boys, but all the pests. There might be boy pests, I don't know. So yeah, long and short, I'm going to bail First time ever. I'm getting Durdle Door vibes, and it's not even that close to the coast. I'm supposed to be. I did pay for tonight. I'm just going to use that as, because they also expect you to leave at 10:30 in the morning, which is like, what? But fair enough. But I wasn't going to make that, so I was like, well, screw it. I will head to where I want to be, and I shouldn't have said 2 nights and paid for 2 nights in advance. I should have just won 1. That's what you usually do. So I'm going to Budleigh Salterton. Budleigh Salterton. I think it's Salterton. Which is very close to Branscombe, where I need to restart my walk towards Exmouth and Sidmouth. And there's also the Archmouth Branscombe airfield, but apparently still operating until October. But and I may have taught the guy around again. This might backfire, but I can always go try the airfield. If this is like a no, I can always do a similar thing. There's a few sites around there, but I just felt like I need to go from this campsite because I just got bad vibes as well. I got quite paranoid last night. Heard some weird noises, which is probably the deer coming to eat munch the apples, but I'm not totally sure. It feels quite, I don't know. It feels quite leaky, this place. I'm right on the edge of it, and there's that apples, but there's sort of trackways through, and it feels like it's I don't know how open it is. It doesn't feel secure. Which is, fine if I'm wild camping, because I expect that, but, I've never wild camped. I want to, but it's just, this bloody thing is just way too heavy, and it killed me yesterday, moving it to, just going the, 3/4 of a mile, but it was in the middle of the heat of the day, and I'm going to have a similar situation today. I'm taking some ibuprofen, and we'll see how we go. It's going to be ouchy, but I feel like I'm revisiting the greatest hits of the last one, and I haven't really broken new ground, even though I have, because I've did the 5 miles, 5-6 miles from Seacombe Bottom to Kimmeridge. That bit, bits that were good, but because I'm staying around the same places, it feels like deja vu, and I think that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that I feel like it's that, and also, and the new campsite is all in for 20 quid, including the showers, so it's like, it's going to save a bit of money there, but again, it's still a bit more than I'd like to pay, because they call for 15, but it depends what type of place they are. More caravan-y, mobile home places are very, you tend to charge more, and weirdly have less facilities sometimes, but they're less aimed at the backpacker market. So, but we'll see. Hopefully it's nice. I've heard good things about the one at Budleigh Salterton, and as I say, that's kind of equidistant between, it's sort of, I can walk to Branscombe, probably going the other way, but from it to Branscombe, and vice versa, can walk forward from there for a bit. So it's pretty good location, and part of the reason for doing this and getting out of Dodge as well as the bad vibes, is that I get locked in here because the buses to that part of the world are Axe Valley Transport, and Axe Valley Transport are kind of like a community type bus service, which is brilliant. I love them dearly, but they don't do Sundays at all, and the Saturday services are very minimal. And so, although I could travel on a Saturday and stay here for tonight and travel on Saturday, it's just, there's danger that I might end up having to stay here for the weekend, and I really don't want to spend another 42 quid on a site that has minimal facilities. That I expect for that sort of price. I expect a little bit more a little bit more than putting me next to an apple tree that's got the besties. I heard the apples dropping in the night, so it's like, oh, wow, deja vu. At least I had the sense not to put my tent anywhere near the apple tree. It's like the acorns, except slightly more dangerous if they fall on you. Then maybe I'll invent gravity. So, yeah, it's kind of weird to do a moving day the day after, but this is kind of how all of this gear was intended to be. It was intended... what I'm aiming for, and I'm partly a lazy hiker, is to, camp as I go along. And I think, one, I need to travel much more lighter to do that, including the art gear. No pencil cases, no extra pad, no extra gear, just minimal, like one pad. Probably not even take the extra paper, which is a bit of a problem because I don't know if there's an easier way of taking the paper box, or easy way of. The problem is expensive paper needs to be preserved, and it doesn't come in A4 sizes. So I haven't found sort of a light, simple way of having something that's A3 or less than A3. I've got like they don't make them anymore, a Flying Tiger box, plastic box. It still is a bit heavy, so I need to, it'd be good to take some paper for that, but maybe I need to chop it into A4 sizes. But again, I'd like to have the option of having the odd, doing the odd sort of Moot Bay type piece on decent paper, if I feel it, if the subject deserves it. So certainly take less paper. I don't know what I do about the paper box, because part of the reason why I don't have a day pack as well, or I can't fit into the day pack, because you can't find a day pack that fits into your rucksack that is A, very light, and B, there are ones that are very light, still the nylon ones, but they don't fit A3. Apart from sort of laptop bags, and they seem to be very heavy. So I need to work out how to transport the paper in a way that doesn't get it ruined. Because you can't really... You can roll it, I suppose. It's all a bit weird. So I'm about to pack up the tent and head off. I'm still pissed off about that whole thing about YouTube. I've not checked the email today. I got a very wanky response from them. Say, oh, wait, we have to be patient. No, we don't have to be patient. You're the ones that suspended my bloody account. Well, yeah, they did, really. They've suspended the account and removed the channel. So it's not a case of just removing the channel from an existing account. I can't log into that account. So the whole thing has been removed. So I'm expecting for the monolith that this is YouTube that's probably gone for good. So I'll have to set up something else when I get back, and there'll be lots of videos, from that, and hope they don't nuke that. But I don't know. It's all just shit, really. So anyway, I'm gonna pack away. Already started packing away. I need to set the tent down. I'm not looking forward to rolling the mat again. I have to say, I really do need to get some larger stuff bags. It's something that I haven't done because, hey, money. But when you're in a hurry like today, it is a fucking nightmare trying to roll up the tent and roll up the all in quotes self-inflating mats, which never do. I think trading standards should get to those people about that, because they don't self-inflate. They do a bit, but not very much. You really have to inflate them, and they always, when they put them in the packaging, I think they extract the air with a machine. And so unless you've got a pump, which again is more shit to carry, those pumps can extract it and do that. Those little pumps can probably do that, and take it down to a level where there's absolutely no air in it. But if it's, and that means the little stuff sacky thing, it's really hard to get it back in again. I had to take several attempts to get the mattress into that. And also, yesterday, the Farrago leaving the hat in the hanging in the tent and then rolling at the tent and thinking, why is the tent not going into the stuff sack? Though it's difficult the best of times. But again, that is the classic thing. They want to show that, oh look, it's tiny. It's like, yeah, but what happens when you want to actually roll it up again? Does it go back in? Oh, it does, but it takes a lot of work to do so. So anyway, I better get on and pack up. I'm just walking from the new campsite in Salcombe Regis. Well, it's Regis. I even saw a Bear Regis, which is why one of them was called Bear Regis, but it's spelled B-E-R-E. I thought I found that very funny. I'm just walking down past the Norman Lockyer Planetarium and Observatory, which is a 19th century observatory and has some very famous telescopes. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where they only do talks and invite people in for tours, but there wasn't anything. There are things in September, but they're later in the month. And it's kind of interestingly very muggy day, but kind of cloudy, so it's quite fairly chilled. So I'm liking that, because when I was putting the tent up, it was boiling and it was sunny, so I'm quite liking the overcast, colder weather. I was just in a place called the Byes, which has an amazing willow overhanging a large sort of waterfall weir, which I suspect was probably part of the Hunter's Lodge Hotel, Hunter's Moon, or one of the big houses around here. There's lots of bequests. I mean, I wandered past a place which was owned by the Woodlands Trust, and of course Salcombe Hill is National Trust, and I'd forgotten that it was like, oh yes, Woodland Trust. But what's more important to me is apparently Swan Inn is that way. I don't know what the Swan Inn is, but we have a lot of Devon motorway. It's really tiny, including I'm not going back on the road track. I would call it a track with tarmac, but it's tiny thing in places. But it goes down Salcombe Hill, which is steep, very steep. Luckily I was going down it. I'm going to take the bus back. I didn't realise, so I kind of missed that there's a bus called the 9A, which I remember from last time, but I'd forgotten it. You know, it was like, oh yes, the 9A. There's a stagecoach bus which goes back, and that sort of opens up this area, so actually I could have travelled on Saturday and stayed where I was, but I think I made the right call. The new place is much better. Of course I only booked in for one night, just to test them, but looking at it, it's one of those places that's almost like they've just put a campsite into a large football pitch. It's all incredibly flat. Some people are like, oh, it doesn't have character, it doesn't have wildlife, and I'm like, I can live with that for a while, after having lots of characterful places with lots of characterful wildlife and insects and seemingly everybody wanting to get into my tent, and acorns falling on me and wasps and apples, and yeah, I'm quite happy with boring. And there's actually water on the actual pitch, which is like luxury. And of course there's a quid less than the one that shall not be named. I did name it in the previous podcast. I won't name it again because they don't deserve the attention. I worked out why the showers were so shit. It's because they were solar panelled, but they hadn't switched the solar panels on, because I was like, oh, it's solar. Oh, well. But then when I tried it at 9 PM when the sun had been shining pretty heavily the last couple of hours, it was still lukewarm. And then I found there's like 2 of them, so I went to the other shower block thinking maybe the main tap shower block is better. No, still lukewarm, and the little meter panel for the wasn't showing any wattage being generated, even though it was sunny outside. So I think they got it switched off. You know, and it's oh god, it's weird to be in somewhere that's like got stuff and cinemas and restaurants and pavements. I was like, my god, pavements! I haven't seen him for such a long time. Pavements. Obviously Sidmouth is like Exmouth, is more of an old school tourist town and much more of a conurbation. Ooh, pizza. Not exactly London, but much more urbanised. You'd have trouble doing the planetarium today, which is why obviously they go to Gran Canaria or Space or wherever. But allegedly there is a Waitrose, so it's probably closed. Anyway, the Waitrose is closed quite early in this neck of the woods. I mean, the Bridport is 6, so I have a nasty feeling it might be closed, but I just thought I'd walk down to have a look. I found the post office, woo, and see the lay of the land. And yeah, it's weirdly civilised. Yeah, there's the previous place. They were running solar showers, and there's signs in the other. Got an ATM and a Tesco Express. Well, Lyme Regis had a Tesco Express, but yeah. But yeah, the previous place had terrible showers, and I think the problem, there was a sign saying don't, I might post it up, I need to anonymise it, but there's quite next to the caution hot water, it's like, really? Yes please, that would be nice, a bit euphemistic. And there's in low season, please be patient because hot water will take a while, and it's like they're sort of there for like 2 minutes going, I'm wasting so much water doing this. At that point being green, this is obviously the rush hour in Sidmouth. Of course most things are closed apart from Goop. There's a Goop, Tesco Express and a Goop. They are doing a Lyme, especially they're right next to each other almost. But yeah, it's obviously they just hadn't got it switched on or something. It's a bit weird, but anyway, relying on solar in this climate and the British weather is really strange. That it's really weird to sort of depend on that kind of thing when the UK doesn't have that kind of sunshine. If you're in Australia or America or somewhere that has a lot of sun, Africa, it makes loads of sense, but not in with the British weather. It's a bit strange. Maybe if you mix it with solar, wind or sea power. Sorry, went a bit OMD there. That's Thomas Dolby. But yeah, it's it's a bit strange, and I think if you're wasting water to try and get the hot water because it's so shit and so slow. And that's kind of a bit of an own goal because water needs not to be wasted. So it's kind of, I talk a lot about these. Another cash machine. I talk a lot about that kind of thing in my blogging over at tjbaker.co.uk. And this is kind of supposed to be, I might actually rebrand, if the YouTube thing is gone, I might rebrand as Green Man, because that kind of links into some of my artworks, but also links into what I'm trying to do here, which is ethical tourism, green tourism as much as possible. There's no such thing as green tourism, it doesn't exist. The most greenest tourism is stay at home and preferably die and don't breathe again. So, as green as possible. And, it's Friday, isn't it? That's why all the idiots in the GTIs are out. But yes, going ooh at me, because this is what they do. If you look at all different or neurodiverse, you get people shout at you in cars going ooh. Yes, just showing how Neanderthal they are. A bit like the pub last night. That was just weird. I tweeted about it, saying if you're going to talk about sports ball, even when other people have tried to, not just me, have tried to change the conversation, because another guy there was not interested in talking about rugby or darts. Ooh, we have an art shop. Haha. There's an art shop called Southwest Art in Sidmouth. It has Claire Fontaine, Winsor & Newton, chisel, look golden. Ooh. Lot of Winsor & Newton, Liquitex. Ooh. Obviously they're closed. I mean, it's after 5 o'clock, but that's useful to know. I've totally lost my thread now. Discovering the art shop. Ooh, excitement. They're so rare in this area. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on, but it is. Yeah, I think the green thing is important, and the ethical thing is important, and it's the focus of the channel anyway. And the travel is part of it, but it's all about going to new places that, without trying to use public transport, trying to not ruin the place, and drive everywhere and try and avoid that impact, which seems to be not popular, I have to say. At places that assume you're driving and make it difficult for you to arrive on public transport, like even the place here, which was good. That's where everyone's getting the ice creams from. Gelato. I already had a chocolate milkshake earlier in the day. It was a special present for the horribleness of having 2 days in a row moving. Something I never do, but I'm glad I have. But yeah, the amount of places who say, you just it's 5 minutes by car. I don't drive. Oh, we need to get here by X time. Well, I hope I will, but I can't guarantee it because, excellent, they have refill points. That's brilliant. Proper water refill points. That's so needed in so many places that don't have it. But yeah, it is. It's all going to change. I mean, this is the thing. Everything has to change. You can't go on it before, and it's going to be very painful for a lot of people because they're so ingrained this idea that you've got to drive everywhere, you've got to have a car, especially in these areas. But it's going to have to change because it's either going to be changed voluntarily or changed for them. Oh wow, there's a pop-up fish and chips place in the market. That's nice. But yes, it has to change, and this is a lot of people are in denial at the moment, and they're thinking that we're voting for people who attack work politics and attack green things is going to change it. It doesn't just hastens the end, it hastens the point where either this planet becomes unlivable or they get forced to not be able to drive anywhere because literally they cannot afford it. And it's like, do you want the easy option of changing under your own steam, or do you want to be forced to? But so many people got their head in the sand about that, and it's, even down to the fish and chip place as well. I had fish and chips last night. I do not want more fish and chips. But that was my first. I think was that my first proper fish and chips of the holidays, or that was my second. So. And it's now by the seafront. But yeah, it's going to have to change. It has to change. And a lot of people don't want it to change. But it will change. It doesn't matter what they do. You can't change. Well, you can. But we're soon getting to the point where you can't change at human climate change, and it's going to keep getting worse, and it will get better over a very long time. The longer people have So anyway, but I'm just glad to be ironically in a less green space, because there is a point of where. My friend Paige would love all the creepy crawlies, but there is a point of where you're like, actually, I do actually want convenience for a little bit, but even down to the campsites, they've got to have. And this campsite does have some wild spaces. It's not completely one big football field. I suspect the best thing is somewhere in between, because you don't want the ecologically dead spaces. Also, you don't really want wasps in your tent either. So it's kind of a coexistence problem. So anyway, from a rather muggy but cool, people are swimming though, it's not that cold, Sidmouth, this is Tim out.